If you were to take an F-150, a Roxor, and a Taco to explore the rural woodlands of Knox County, Ohio, and take on the challenge of FedEx Hill, the ensuing adventure might just look a little like this. So if you've ever thought that there are no good trails in the central backwoods of Ohio to go drive, come along for the ride as we show off the Quarry Trail and Bat's Nest. Knox County, Ohio is 530 square miles of fields, forests, rolling hills, valleys, villages, lakes, and rivers. The county currently has around 63,000 residents, including almost 3,000 Amish. The county was created back in 1808, named after Revolutionary War General and Secretary of War Henry Knox. This county has a history of steel foundries, glass factories, and farming. It's the kind of place where the first inmate of the first local jail, he escaped by climbing out through the chimney. Despite its small size, Knox County also boasts two significant colleges, Mount Vernon Nazarene University and the Kenyon College, where President Rutherford B. Hayes graduated. Today, the county is known for places like the Ariel Foundation Park, Cocosing Gap Trail, the Dog Fountain, Schnormeyer Gardens, the Bridge of Dreams, Honey Run Waterfall, the Cocosing Water Trail, Apple Valley Lake, and the Ramsar Arboretum. Knox County also boasts a history including several famous individuals, including Johnny Appleseed, Dan Emmett, who is the composer who wrote Dixie, actor Luke Perry, who graduated from a local high school, and actor Paul Edward Lind, who was Uncle Arthur in Bewitched. And there's also one more person that you might be familiar with who was born and raised in this very area. Why, it was my husband, Bill. He's from Knox County. So when I told Bill that OnX suggested that there are two nice moderate trails right there in Knox County, Ohio, he was a bit skeptical because he was pretty sure he'd driven every inch of that county when he was a kid. And so Bill and I did what any sensible Jeep owner would do at that point. We decided we needed to go out and check it out. For some reason, Bill got the notion in his head that he didn't want to drive either the Gladiator or the JK over these trails. Instead, he took this little diesel Mahindra Roxor. And so, after a short drive through the morning countryside, we finally arrived at our destination and met up with two friends from Tri-State Overland. Both Jason and PJ had driven these trails before, and the fact they were willing to drive a couple of hours down to our neck of the woods in order to drive them again, it should have told us something, but it didn't. This is PJ's 2019 Ford F-150. It's on a 2-inch leveling kit with 35-inch tires. This is Bill's 2019 Mahindra Roxor on 30-inch tires with a Max Anthony leveling kit and a Diesel Freak Stage 2 tune. And this last vehicle is Jason's 2021 Tacoma TRD Pro. It's on a 2.5-inch lift with 33-inch tires. The trail immediately after that creek crossing, it's fairly easy and uneventful. But after a short while, you'll come across the major obstacle for the day. Welcome to FedEx Hill. The locals call it that because the GPS routes still include this road as a public route, which means a lot of times FedEx trucks would try to deliver to homes at the other end of the road and get stuck on this hill. As usual, the video just doesn't do justice to the incline on this particular hill. And these washouts, they're significant, leading to a lot of off-camber scrambles. PJ and his F-150 made quick work of these inclines and washouts, making all of this look pretty darn easy. But before you decide whether OnX's rating of a level 5 is overstated, you might want to wait and give everybody else a chance to drive up this incline. Bill in the Roxor was the next one to tackle the hill.
Oh yeah, there. That's straight sideways.
Yeah, you fell off the log there.
Now mine, I think I want one of those.
He's hitting his diff in the side. It's on the wrong side. I don't think he can make it over that. Whoa! I don't think he's going to make it over that log. Once we all settled that perhaps the winch was the best way to help Bill out of this position, we had to figure out how in the world we were going to anchor it. So you wanted to drive your Roxor, huh?
Yeah. Just my Jeep.
I bet you're missing your Jeep right now.
She's too narrow for that.
She is too narrow for that spot. I hope it's getting oil too. That would really stink. And when we couldn't locate an appropriate anchor point for that winch, PJ backed his Ford F-150 back down that hill, off-camber sections and all, with the help of his wife, Sarah. And you might notice here that the angle is so steep that Bill couldn't climb back in that driver's side. He had to walk all the way around and climb in the passenger side. Now you probably heard Bill lamenting that he hadn't brought a Jeep with him today, but it's not for the reasons you might think, because he loves driving this Roxor. But this vehicle does not have lockers, and you can't unhook the sway bar. At least not yet. I'm pretty sure those are things that he will remedy soon. But today, Bill's diff just wouldn't make it over that log, and we needed to come up with other ideas for recovery. Can we find a rock or a traction board or something to put on this wheel so that it can elevate it? Well, and the other thing that you could do is take a chainsaw and cut off the end of that, if that'll help. And in addition to that chainsaw and the recovery boards, Bill got some help to put some logs in here to gain more elevation. The man helping Bill with those logs was actually one of two gentlemen in a side-by-side that was behind us, and they were so patient and helpful. So wherever they both may be today, I thank them both for their help.
Well, it'll either work or it won't, you know what I mean?
And did it work? Well, you'll just have to watch the video and see. PJ, I've got to say, you're a much braver person than I am, because I don't know if I could ever have done this. My understanding is your last words before he started driving were, "Please don't hurt me." And that left only Jason and his taco to make the trek up this hill. That log does help. Oh, we're spinning. Nice. Stone Quarry Road is only about a mile in length, but Onyx describes it fairly well as a rugged uphill with bowling ball and larger rocks on a heavily washed out and unmaintained road with sections of off-camber that will stretch the suspension. Once you conquer FedEx Hill and leave it in your rearview mirror, the rest of the obstacles on this trail are probably more like a level 3 or a 4.
It's very unique to have a rock in your bumper just like that.
This particular trail is reportedly especially popular with local side-by-side drivers. And although you often hear tales of bad blood between side-by-side drivers and off-road drivers, these particular drivers were enthusiastic about sharing the road and awesome to work with. Although you might be thinking, aren't we done with a mile of trail yet? The answer to that is no. We still have a couple of more significant rock obstacles ahead. And besides, as I was reminded along this trail, it's not about the miles you drive, but about the smiles on the way.
That's it. That's one way over the rock.
He went around it. Yes, he did.
If you're wondering what that noise is, that's from the side-by-side. Unfortunately, somewhere along this trail, this side-by-side accrued some pretty significant damage and had to stop at the end of this trail. Once you start seeing signs of civilization at the top of that hill, you know that the significant obstacles of Stone Quarry Road are now behind you. As we drove away from the Stone Quarry Road towards Bat's Nest, Bill and I talked a little bit about how these trails reminded us a lot of Kentucky. It was almost as though we'd driven hours to get down to the Kentucky Adventure Tour or Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway, but instead, we were only miles from home.
Trail time.
Yeah, trail it is.
The Bat's Nest Trail is a 2.4-mile length of unmaintained road that includes some small rock obstacles and some very deep mud holes. Onyx rates it at a level 4. Even though the largest mud holes have bypasses, you'll want to keep your recovery gear handy on this trail.
Dulcet tones of skid plates.
Straighten it out just a bit. Straight. Stay. Leave it right there. Leave it right there. Sway a bit. Hold on. Dude, I don't know. Your front end's going to go that way when you hit this dip.
It's going to hit the tree in the back.
I think you're going to get wet and stuck there.
That's okay. They'll go around me and pull me out.
Jeez.
I don't think his isn't going to pull you out.
No.
You're going to drag his forward. I can get around.
Yep.
All right. I like towing Fords out. Let's go. I just don't want you in there. That's all.
Yes.
You're okay.
It's a little bit of a drop off
You're
right there.
okay. But I'm just worried, like when this drops in, the front looks like it might switch. When you drop in here, it's going to hit this edge and push your front that way. And
your back.
I'm worried about how secure that mush is right there.
Yeah.
That's what's worrying me. I really don't want a tire in there, as much as you don't want a tire in there.
Well, I'm gonna throttle. I'm not gonna go
Just go
super
straight.
light.
Go straight from there, but
I'm saying I'm not gonna go light on the throttle. I don't want you in front of me.
you're going to go here, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna come through here. And if I feel my tire come up here, I'm gonna turn right and keep throttling. So I just don't want anybody in front of me. Try don't make it. Thanks for being there, buddy, man.
Bill, I assume you're going the other way.
Yeah, I am. I ain't gonna try that.
That's probably the safest assumption you'll ever have.
Now I knew Bill was going to go around the other way, and Jason kept talking like he was going to go that way too. So these pictures as Bill drives through might give you just a little bit better understanding of how deep these ruts are and how deep that hole and drop-off was to the far right. Somewhere in the time between PJ driving this and Bill driving this, Jason changed his mind and decided he too was going to tackle that harder obstacle.
He's going to try it.
Passenger. Yep. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Passenger. Now driver. Yep. Straighten it out. You're good. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Your passenger tire is right on the edge of the mud hole now. Driver side's going down. Passenger.
And after that challenge, the rest of this trail was all about the mud holes. When I'm filming mud holes, sometimes I have to put myself in the perfect vantage point, which also leaves me open to getting sopping wet. Bill knows full well he doesn't have to hold back driving through these mud holes because I accepted that risk. Today, PJ and Jason were both perfect gentlemen, making sure I didn't get hit with that wave of water. But I let them both know that when we all head to the Ozarks, as long as it's not freezing, I don't expect that courtesy. The Bat's Nest Trail dead ends right onto Walhonding Road, a paved road right across from the Bat's Nest Park. There was just enough room for everybody to air up again before we headed off towards one final destination for the day. Today, we were headed towards the Bridge of Dreams. But before we got there, we had one more unexpected hurdle to get over. It wasn't until now that Bill noticed that oil light had come on, and we both hoped that FedEx Hill hadn't caused any damage to the Roxor. So everybody got out and looked over the vehicle. But they couldn't find anything obvious, and everything appeared to be running smoothly. When Bill finally looked closer at the issue later, he decided that perhaps some moisture had gotten into the sending unit, causing a miscommunication with the light, because thankfully, we continued on and we had no problems with the engine. The Bridge of Dreams is located just off of State Route 62 near Brinkhaven, Ohio, and Knox County. You can find it along the 4.5-mile Mohican Valley Trail, which is a multi-use trail that spans between Danville, Ohio, and the Coshocton County line. And when I say multi-use, I really mean it in this case. This isn't just your average hiking, walking, jogging, and biking trail, because the local Amish also use this particular trail as a thoroughfare for their horses and buggies. This trail also links up to the Cocosing Gap Trail on the west and the Holmes County Trail on the east, all of them being part of the 326 miles of the Ohio to Erie Trail across the state of Ohio. The 370-foot Bridge of Dreams spans the Mohican River. This particular covered bridge is the second longest in Ohio and the third longest in the United States. This bridge was originally built in the 1920s to carry the Pennsylvania Line Railroad across the river. In the 1990s, a group of local citizens put together a plan to convert the old bridge into a multi-use trail. Because of the exorbitant cost to cover the bridge, those individuals were called dreamers, thus turning this into the Bridge of Dreams. Thanks for joining us on our adventure through the backwoods of Ohio. Where are we headed next? It might look a little something like this. So if the forests, rivers, rocks, and ruts of Beach Fork and the Gauley River in West Virginia look enticing to you, I hope you'll come back and join us again next time. But in the meantime, go out and find your own adventure.